So, welcome everyone to our Study Abroad podcast series. So, today we have Ankita from USA. She did her MBA from Wharton, and we'll be knowing about her journey from India to Wharton. So, welcome Ankita to our podcast.
Thank you so much, Ashal. This is great. I think everybody needs podcasts like these because students across the board are so unaware about how to do the process. So, great job at this.
Correct, correct. So, very first question, Ankita, when was the very first time you thought that there is something that exists beyond India?
So I thought about it in buckets. I thought about it when I left school. So I wanted to do my undergrad outside. Didn't have as much awareness, correct? And then when I was working, I thought now after 2 years, when business was doing well, I thought this is the time. But then it was escalating at a pace that I couldn't match up. So I was like, okay, let's wait for a little more time, and then this was it. When COVID hit, I was like, I gotta take the next big step. So yeah, that's when I started the process.
So, in total, how much work experience you had before you joined your MBA program?
I had 8 years of experience.
So after 8 years or like 7 years, let's say, you decided that okay, finally it's time to write my resignation letter.
So I was running a business, so couldn't really resign. So it's still running. So I had to basically do an MBA and a business side by side.
So like part-time MBA, part-time business, or
Yeah,
part-time
full
business,
time
full-time
MBA
MBA.
and full time business.
So how was this roller coaster ride in that case? Like, were you able to concentrate on the business side, or was it very
um,
hard for you?
It is very hard. Honestly, my business partner took charge. He was anchoring the show while I was away. But I am a multitasker. I like to do multiple things at a time. So it makes sense for me. It doesn't have to make sense for everybody. But that's the way I like to do things. So, and I'm a firm believer that you don't have to live one life, you can live multiple lives. So, yeah, I was good.
Maybe live three lives, one while sleeping, and then one while, while awake.
Yes, correct. And honestly, the hardest task is getting in a good MBA. After that, it is just like getting into an IIT. So getting into IIT is difficult, and then you kind of have a good time.
Exit is easy.
Yeah, correct.
So you applied to few colleges except Wharton,
Yes.
or like you are like one college only?
No, no, of course. So I wanted to apply only. So some wise advisor told me that my profile was very unique. I didn't go to an IIT. I didn't do work at Amazon or Google before doing Ivy Leagues. So they said, but I was running a business for 8 years and I'm very self-empowered. So they said you can only apply to the top three because they have the scope of taking risks. Otherwise, all the other colleges kind of go for traditional profiles. Like you do an IIT, then go to Bain, McKinsey, BCG, or Amazon, Google in tech, and or do IB, and then come for MBA. So because I had a different profile, I had only scope in top threes if they would take the risk of taking a person like me, and thankfully they did. So
And which are the top three?
Stanford, Harvard, Wharton. Yeah.
Top three of US. What about top three of other countries?
Also, I was very clear that I want to run a business. I want to be an entrepreneur, and for me, business makes sense to start from the Bay Area, from US, and then you can replicate it in other countries. That being said, there are plenty of other colleges and plenty of good universities across the globe who happen to have half the fees or maybe one fourth the fees. So I think it depends person to person what your goal and ambitions are. So I kind of curated on what I wanted after 5 years.
So US was like your only choice in your case, right? You didn't even think about other countries.
Correct, correct. I didn't, but I researched a lot and I know a lot of people. So from UK to New Zealand, I think there's so much scope. It's endless.
Sure, sure. And once you applied to these three, you got admitted into all three, or one of them, two of them? What was the case?
So I got interviewed. So I did these three and Columbia as well. So I got interviews in Stanford and I got an admit in Columbia. But I got full scholarship in Wharton. So kind of an easy pick.
So full scholarship, as in tuition fee was completely waived and
Yeah, but
monthly stipend.
yes, but it's still very expensive. So it's not like undergrad, you don't get stipend. For the tuition fees also, imagine about 50-60% is what you get, and then a lot of taxes and other parts of the tuition you have to pay, and then no stipend for grads.
Do you think it's sometimes a tricky thing that first the price is increased and then the price is decreased so that your attention actually shifts from spending to saving, and that's why you happily spend?
Sorry, could you tell
Yeah.
me the question
So
again?
the psychology of scholarship is like first increase the price, then give, let's say, 50% scholarship. Now your mind shifts from spending to saving. So you happily spend. Do you agree to this
So,
psychology or nothing like this?
that's how the market runs in India for any product that you buy on Amazon. I would like to believe an MBA is different. And at least for the top three colleges, they are not kidding when they are charging the price that they are. Because for 1.5 CR, 2 CR, they cannot be making stuff up. And in our batch, like Warden gives lot of scholarships, but more than 50% of the batch had to pay full fees and come on board. So there's no way that they can actually price it down. So I think only deserving students, any which ways, are going to the top three colleges. And then if you are at a Wharton, then they also expect that you've done something in life and you might be having some money. But these colleges are very expensive. There's no getting out of it that they are expensive, and they're not pulling the fees down for anybody. So
So you mean
you're
the
paying
it
for
is
everything.
value
It
for
is
money in general?
it is, of course, and it is very difficult to understand that, and it is very difficult to understand that when you enter. You're like, I am paying for every club, every membership, every event. So except the 1.5 CR, I'm paying another 50 lakhs for all these events, and then you want to network when you've come to a place like that. But it is not a 2 year investment, it is a 50-year investment. You will see it happening in your life on a daily basis, like just using the Warden tag, you will open gates that you didn't know even existed. So it is value for money.
So in general, people should have around 1 crore or something to actually pursue MBA, or
So 1 CR, I would say, uh, except the top 10. For top 10, you need two.
okay, okay, sure, sure.
Hmm.
And so once you got this admit and everything was done, you had to go through this visa process, etc., right? So you had to show them the finances that you have this 1 crore or something in your bank account or
So that's
something like that.
pretty solid. That's so I had a very difficult time in India because I don't have parents, and all the banks said that you need a guarantor, and parents are the official guarantor. And they didn't take any other guarantor. Also, I tried that way as well. So basically, it is very difficult if you don't have parents or your parents are not sound enough. You cannot get a student loan because the time you get admitted, they don't consider you a business professional. Like I was saying, I'm a business professional. My company has so much of revenue, but they were counting on you as a student then. So for student loan, you need a guarantor, and you didn't. I didn't have that. It is very easy in US. US gives 100% loan on your tuition with no collateral. So there's something called Discover loans, so student loans that are connected with the university, and they got approved like in a day. So for 6-7 months, I was moving across banks trying to get loan, but couldn't. And then in US, I got sorted in a day.
So you got the loan from US bank. back in India?
Correct. Correct. Yeah. In India, I applied to a US company and they gave me the loan.
So this money was, I mean, you got like some kind of letter that we are guaranteeing you so much loan and we'll pay your fees, etc., like that, which you
Yeah, so
showed to the visa.
they are affiliated with the university. So the university does kind of all the process. I just had to fill a form, they approved the loan. Yeah. And
So it's
then
fully loan covers the full thing, or you have to pay something, some part at least.
full.
Which means
If
like
you
if
apply.
somebody gets the admit in Wharton, let's say, money is not
Yeah.
the issue.
Money is not the issue because you will earn and you can repay. So money is not an issue.
Okay, so it's kind of that MBA and the bank have kind of a tie up, or like they help each other, kind of that. Okay, fine. This is the fee, we cannot charge less, but we will give you all the education loan, and now obviously you have to be serious enough to repay that loan later once you get the
So
job
the
and all.
banks know. The banks are also very smart here. So they know if you're a Wharton grad, you will be earning like crores and crores, so you will pay back.
Yeah, yeah, and it's also it's for them also they get the interest, etc., or whatever. I mean, if it's an
Correct.
interest-free loan, also they get a relationship at least, the data.
Yeah. The data.
Correct, correct.
Yes.
So once you had all this, so you still had some expenses of like booking the flight and initial accommodation,
Of course, of
etc.
course.
So how did you manage that at the beginning?
I ran a business in India, so I had savings.
Okay, so you had so how much amount should be in hand at least, like let's say apart from the education loan and all, like few lakhs, tens of lakhs maybe.
Correct. Of course.
And which airline did you take to come to US?
I think I took Emirates because it had like student discount and it gives extra luggage as well.
Sure, sure. And your accommodation, did you find any roommate or something back in India?
No, I didn't. I took a studio here. So either you do take a studio or you take a two bedroom. It's kind of the same price. I took a studio.
And all these expenses were later reimbursed or paid by the education loan only?
So I had savings for accommodation and stuff. So
Oh, okay, okay. So you only took the education loan for the tuition fee part or whatever, I mean, scholarship adjusted tuition fee, and
correct,
rest of the thing you manage by yourself.
correct.
Sure,
But
sure.
like I have no friends who've taken like 2 crores and they've got it easily.
Sure, sure. I think it's more of a psychological burden then that I have 2 crore loan till they don't repay it, probably
Correct, correct.
every now and then, maybe.
But then the person who has a 2 crore loan has a job of 4 crores.
Yeah, but that is after like finishing the degree, right? Not like
So
in
they
the
don't
two
have to
years.
pay, right? They don't have to pay a year after graduation. So
Yeah.
start paying, they get graduated, then a year of job, and then they start paying.
And what's the class size like in your case?
Ours was 720.
720. And all these 720 people are going to get 4 crore per year job.
Most of us, like the minimum package here is two. So 1.5 would be like some, I'm sure people get 1.5 also. But yeah, people get five also. So it depends.
Pretty much 100% people
Yes,
get
yes.
something or the other to, I mean, there is no like a, nothing like a trap, right?
No, no, no. But then I'm also talking about like the top 10. Otherwise, the employment state in US is bad, so it can get difficult also if you go to an unknown college.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. I mean, the good ones will always have options in general. The mediocre ones may have limited options, and then it decreases as the uh,
Correct.
reputation is decreasing, kind of. Yeah, sure. And once you landed in US, this was like your first US trip, or you have been to US before?
No, no, I have been to US too many times, so I know the place well.
So you have been traveling abroad for a while before you decided to do MBA.
Yeah, I would come to US every year for work, so
Okay, for your own business, like the one you are running by yourself.
correct.
Okay, okay. So you already had a lot of idea about US that way also, that while running your
Correct.
business. meeting people, etc. So there were not much of a cultural shock or any shock as such for you. Everything was pretty
But
much.
honestly, I would like to say that traveling to a place like for 10 days, 20 days is very different from living in a place. So US is different and it only comes to you once you start living here. So that is different.
Sure, sure, sure. And once you had to like shift there, you had to do cooking, cleaning, etc. You were used to it or not so used to it?
Absolutely not used to it. I have never done any kind of cooking or cleaning, so it was like I am still in pain. And like today, I told you, right? I am supposed to move out, so you have to literally pick every single sock or TV or sofa of yours by yourself, then get a truck, load everything, then take it, then offload it, then take it to the new house, set up everything by yourself. So there's no carpenter or plumber or people coming to you. So quite
There will be, probably it's too expensive, maybe
too
at this
expensive
stage.
to, yeah.
With that, maybe the tuition fee loan and all, you might be thinking that rather than paying them so much, I'll clear my loan maybe.
Yeah, yeah, it is so expensive.
But once you
The,
clear your loan, maybe you will be able to hire them for your next change.
honestly, it is like middle class can afford a carpenter plumber in India. It's not the same here. So you have to be
But this
luxurious.
affordability is in the mind more than the actual, right?
Yeah, yeah. I think you earn also in the same range. I have heard people in India now that inflation is on a boom. People when they once they move out a day, they are spending like 10,000. So it's the same range right here as well.
I
So
think eventually things might even out everywhere. The mates might get
hmm,
expensive in India as well as as US.
I agree. Like in terms of saving, I save more here.
And
No
about
jokes
this
about.
part-time job and internship, did you do any part-time job or internship in your 2-year MBA?
Hmm. So, um, in internships, you have to do an internship in after your first year. So I did it with Barbie, the character, their company, and I did a few part time like with the university. So they are like teaching assistant jobs where you are in the university, in the campus, in the same class, and helping your teachers. So it's very easy to navigate, and mostly people do it.
Sure, sure. And you had to go through this GRE, GMAT, TOEFL, etc. for Wharton.
Yes, correct. So I gave GRE. I did attempt the GMAT, but then I stick to GRE. Yeah.
Why did you choose GRE over GMAT, or like how did
I
you
think
decide this?
it's so my quant is not good. So you have to decide quant and verbal and what kind of questions come on board. So my verbal was better and verbal is hard in GRE. So I thought better to take GRE and have an easy way out for quant. So it's a very person to person thing. All universities accept GRE and GMAT, so you can choose according to your caliber.
Or maybe give both and see which one you do better and then decide
Correct.
what to send.
Yeah, correct. Correct.
Sure, sure, sure. And once you started living in US, did you see any like cultural difference? Like you have been to US other places. What about the Wharton area? Like any cultural differences that you noticed?
Oh, yeah. On a daily basis, also, you can notice a lot of cultural differences. But I think, mota moti, everybody is the same. Everybody is looking for money, food, and luxury and wants to have a good time in life. So, I think there's a pattern. Everybody, once they come to US, they want to network, they want to make a very social outburst, have a lot of international friends, and then eventually they nail down to their Indian friends, and because that's where the comfort lies. And I think that happens with Chinese, with Americans, with anybody, any ethnicity. You first try to be too social, and then you slowly come down to your people.
The
But
roots.
Yeah, but and that's how it should be, good or bad, but you always have the choice. In terms of maybe cultural difference, it's festivals that they celebrate. You tend to start celebrating Halloween and Christmas. Holidays are dependent on what holidays they celebrate, so that's how you start planning your days. But I would say overall, we are human beings. We have kind of the same needs. We run on the same dynamics. So it's all up to us how social or anti-social we are.
But did you not sometimes think that, I have done enough networking with Indians, so I should avoid Indians after coming
So
here?
it happens at the start. At the start, you don't want to network with Indians. You're like, I will create my own network. So you go out, venture, meet with lot of friends, make lot of international friends, and then you slowly come down. It's the other way around, I think. Because that's your whole idea, right? You'll go to US and make a bunch of international friends. Not really how it happens, but yeah, you always have the choice. You can make a different choice.
Sure, sure. And now you're doing a full-time job at TikTok, and then you also did internship in between. Did you had to apply a lot of places, get rejected? Did you handle a lot of rejection, or it was an easy cake because you were at Wharton?
No, no, everybody is having a very hard time. So everybody is taking and lot of efforts also. If somebody says you're from Wharton and you got that easy, that's not true. I've seen my friends working like really hard. And the time and effort they put in, if anybody would, they can land up with such a job. So the amount of effort they put in is unmatched. That said, I'm kind of one person who does better when not in stress. So um, I applied I applied hardly to 10, might have got interviews to 2, 3, and then yeah, mine was easy, but I can assure you people who are from IIT, then Wharton, and then interned at the best companies also had to go through the toil of looking for a job.
And how is your life as a job person? Because you did 8 years of business, so you probably
It's
became the
different.
queen that time, and now you are not no longer a queen, maybe in your office.
Oh no, not really. I think it's the opposite. I think it gets very easy because as an entrepreneur, you're working 24 hours, 7 days a week. Here you go at 9 and you come back at 6. It's fairly easier. I would honestly say I had a tougher life starting as an entrepreneur.
So after an entrepreneur, once you get a corporate job, you feel life is easy in general.
Life is easier. Yeah, like I know people who are stressing about their corporate jobs, but I think once you run a business of your own and bear the losses, and from 15th of every month stress about giving salaries to other people and running their homes, I think that stress is much different than what happens in a corporate.
So, like you just started your job though. So it's job versus startup, let's say, or job versus business. Why do you think people do business if it's so hard?
There is a lot of the scope of return is endless, right? So you there's no threshold. In jobs, you have a threshold. So I think this is the age people want to take risk. If it clicks, if it clicks, it clicks. If it doesn't click, you get the experience. So I think everybody should in once in their life be an entrepreneur, see what is on the other side, and everybody is debating the same thing, right? The person who's working finds business is the best, the business guy finds job is the best, so you should try both and choose your evil.
Yeah, yeah. Like let's say Wharton as a B school, it's kind of a business. Like 720 people multiply by 1 crore. 720 crore, like every year they are getting.
Of course, of course,
As a salary, I think getting so much may not be easy, or even handling so much money may not be easy.
of course. Correct.
Sure, sure. So, coming to the very last question now, what advice would you give to the younger yourself or your juniors, who are thinking about applying to Wharton or any MBA and things like that? What are the few things they should definitely consider before applying, or when they should not apply rather? What is the few things to?
Correct, correct. So, younger me, I would always say I should have done this earlier. I would have been more adaptable. So, undergrad is when is the right time to come here because you're like clay, you can be molded in any way, form. Once you come for grad, you've made your life, you have a certain way of living life. It's very difficult to adjust. So one is that start early. When you're applying, talk to a lot of people in the college that you're applying. Don't just go blindfolded. You know nothing. You think you know everything, you know nothing. And do round ones, do early applications. There's more chance of getting in. Also, resume is one thing that is taken very strongly because essays you start writing from ChatGPT now. So you think what you've done in life is important, run it through other people and see if they also think it's important. Otherwise, push it out because Mark Zuckerberg can also write a resume in 1 page. So don't write like 1.5 page and 2 pages of resume. It it's not as important. So
Stay
yeah.
crisp.
Yeah. Some very wise man said that if I had more time, I would have written you a shorter mail. So,
So writing a shorter mail takes more time, you mean?
more time. Correct.
Gosh. Okay, Ankita, thank you very much for your time and sharing your experience and insights. We hope our audience would have got some knowledge out of your experience, and probably some of them might connect with you through LinkedIn and all. So feel free to accept or reject them whenever you have time.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you, Vishal. You're doing a great job, yeah. And thank you for reminding me for this. And yeah, hope to stay in touch.
Take care then. Have a good day. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.